A car that hesitates before shifting gears, slips out of gear on the highway, or suddenly refuses to move at all is dealing with one of the most expensive repairs in the entire vehicle. And unlike an engine problem, a transmission rarely gives a loud, obvious warning before it strands someone on the side of the road. Transmission repairs routinely cost between $1,500 and $4,000, and a full replacement can climb even higher, which makes catching the early signs one of the most financially important things any driver can learn. Before getting into exactly what to look for, anyone finding this helpful should hit subscribe now, because this channel is built around breaking down exactly what's going wrong with a car in plain language, and there's a lot more practical content like this coming. The first sign is delayed or hesitant shifting. Under normal operation, a transmission should shift between gears smoothly and almost unnoticeably. When it starts to fail, there's often a noticeable pause, a moment where the engine revs slightly before the next gear finally engages, which points to worn internal components or degraded transmission fluid struggling to build proper hydraulic pressure. The second sign is slipping, which feels like the engine revving up without a corresponding increase in speed, almost as if the car briefly loses connection with the wheels. This is one of the more dangerous signs, since it can happen unpredictably during acceleration, including when merging onto a highway. The third sign is a burning smell coming from the vehicle, which is often mistaken for an engine issue, but frequently traces back to transmission fluid that is overheated and broken down. Unlike engine oil, transmission fluid isn't meant to burn off or degrade quickly, so a burning smell almost always signals a real problem rather than something routine. The fourth sign is grinding or shaking during gear changes, particularly noticeable in manual transmissions, but present in automatics as well. This typically points to worn synchronizers, damaged gears, or, in automatics, failing clutch packs inside the transmission that are no longer engaging smoothly. The fifth sign is fluid leaking underneath the car, usually appearing as a reddish or brownish puddle. Transmission fluid is critical not just for lubrication, but for the hydraulic pressure that actually allows gears to shift, so even a slow leak can starve the transmission and accelerate internal wear dramatically. The sixth sign is the transmission refusing to engage at all, either staying stuck in one gear or failing to go into drive or reverse despite the engine running normally. This is typically one of the final warning signs before a complete failure and shouldn't be ignored under any circumstances. The seventh sign is a check engine light paired with rough or erratic shifting patterns, which often indicates the transmission control module has detected an issue even before the problem becomes noticeable to the driver during normal driving. For anyone experiencing these symptoms and needing to get somewhere safely before reaching a garage, there are a few important things to know. First, checking the transmission fluid level and condition when the vehicle allows for it takes only a few minutes and can reveal a lot. Fluid that's low, dark brown, or smells burnt confirms a real problem, while fluid that looks clean and reddish suggests the issue may lie elsewhere, such as a sensor or electrical fault, rather than internal transmission damage. Second, if slipping or hesitation is present, avoiding hard acceleration and high speeds significantly reduces the load and heat placed on an already struggling transmission, buying time to reach a shop safely. Third, if the transmission refuses to engage or shift at all, the car should not be driven further and should be towed instead, since continuing to force it can turn a repairable issue into a complete transmission replacement. Fourth, topping off transmission fluid with the correct type, checked against the owner's manual, can sometimes provide enough temporary relief to safely reach a garage, though this is a stopgap measure and not a fix for whatever caused the fluid to run low in the first place. Prevention is where most drivers can make the biggest difference. Transmission fluid should be checked and changed according to the manufacturer's schedule, typically every 30 to 60,000 miles, though this is one of the most commonly skipped maintenance items, simply because transmissions rarely demand attention until something is already wrong. Avoiding aggressive habits like rapid gear shifts, riding the brake while accelerating, or towing loads beyond the vehicle's rated capacity all reduce unnecessary heat and stress on internal components.
For those who tow regularly, installing an aftermarket transmission cooler is a relatively inexpensive upgrade that can dramatically extend transmission lifespan by keeping fluid temperatures in a safer range. Addressing small issues immediately rather than waiting also matters enormously here, since a minor fluid leak left unaddressed for months can turn into a completely burned-out transmission that costs many times more to fix. A transmission is one of the most complex and expensive systems in any vehicle, but it's also one that gives clear warning signs when something starts to go wrong. Catching these 7 signs early, knowing what's safe to do in the moment, and staying ahead of routine fluid maintenance can be the difference between a manageable repair and a total transmission replacement. For more videos that explain exactly what's happening under the hood and how to actually deal with it, subscribing means never missing the next one.